So I finished my Over the Garden Wall cosplay. And of course I had to cosplay the Eldritch Deity Nightmare Creature. So this is how I made my redesign of the Beast and why I really like this show. I hope you enjoy. Over the Garden Wall is the story of two brothers who get lost in a world called the Unknown, and they're just kind of wandering around trying to find a way to get out of it. They're looking for someone named Adelaide. They have a couple of friends that help them along the way. Sometimes they have some scary things that happen. But it is definitely a horror-esque type story. It's got some spooky, which is kind of where the whole thing with the Beast comes in, which is part of why I really enjoy the Beast. Because spread throughout this fantastical, whimsical story is this deep underlying tone of like something wrong is going on. And what I find so interesting about Over the Garden Wall is the fact that so much of the story really boils down to the effects that your words and actions have on other people. It's a very short series, and there's a lot of stuff that I could very easily say to spoil the entire thing, and I would hate to do that because honestly, I would love for everyone to watch it at least once. It's worth at least one watch. If not just to enjoy the aesthetic visuals and the absolutely incredible music, it exudes the vibes of Halloween and fall, which the story itself does take place during Halloween, but I think they did such a great job of really being able to capture like the spirit of October in, just a handful of tiny little episodes of a TV series. So all of that being said, out of all the characters in this show, I went with the Eldritch Monster. If you're new here, hi. I like eldritch things. I especially like Lovecraftian style horror, which is part of why the Beast is so fascinating to me, because he gives me this larger than life, you can't really comprehend him type vibe, which is just fun. So I wanted to remake him, and while talking to a friend one day, I had this idea of what if I made the Beast in this more classical school teacher style, Sophie Hatter type outfit, but with this long trailing skirt that's like all ripped up and ratty, and this veil covering the face, because again, you don't ever see the Beast's face except for his eyes, and just elegant and dark and really ripped up. And that's where I came up with this idea. This was just a quick idea that I had. I hadn't fully fleshed it out, but I just wanted to get it down on paper real quick before I forgot. And I sent it to my friend and I was like, oh my gosh, I think I figured it out. This is what I want to do. Hilariously enough, I actually wound up using a Sophie Hatter pattern for this, and I didn't realize that until like over halfway through with the outfit. But this is a Sophie Hatter pattern. I will, of course, link it down below in case you're interested in purchasing it yourself. I found this on Etsy. I really, really liked it. I, of course, started with my mock-up because I paid a lot of money for the velvet, and I really didn't want to mess it up because the velvet at the time that I was starting to make this was out of stock, and I didn't know if I'd be able to get any more if I messed this up. So I was determined to make this cosplay and make it right. From the mock-up, I did a quick couple of adjustments, realized where I need to add a zipper, stuff like that, and went ahead and started on my final product. Because it's velvet and because of the way that the interior of velvet fabric is, I wound up not doing any lining for this. I also just wanted to make sure that I have as much fabric as possible for the skirt, because originally I had been thinking about doing satin for the inside of the blouse, but I realized I really wanted to keep as much of that as possible for like the dramatic swooping on the ground. So instead, I just left it how it was, and it's honestly pretty comfortable just like that, so I don't mind. Once I had finished with the blouse part, I went ahead and started on the skirt using the skirt pattern that I had originally used for Fighter Jester. I had purchased this a while ago for something else, and it's just been like my go-to skirt pattern on everything. But what I did is just kind of did a general like trace out check of the fabric itself to make sure that I had enough to at least fit the pattern of the skirt, and then I just kept cutting the fabric, because I wanted this long. I wanted it shorter in the front so I wouldn't trip myself up too much. Plot twist, I still trip up a lot on it. But I wanted it to be really long in the back to have that long, dramatic dragging train. At some point, I got annoyed enough because I don't own a serger. I didn't really clean up the inside of the skirt. I just kind of sewed it together and was like, this is just going to exist like this until I can afford a serger. So the inside of the skirt itself, there's no overlock seam, there's nothing fancy. I didn't hem it, I just stitched it once. I know it's chaotic, but it, From there, I just simply attached the skirt straight onto the blouse. The cuffs were made from leftover satin, as well as the little collar that you literally can't even see once I have the wig and the veil on, but it's okay. I got some really cute little silver buttons, again, that you literally can't see, and I hand stitched them on to the velvet. I wanted to go straight down the pattern to make it look like the appearance of a shirt that could open up with a button. It's just a nice little detail. I think it looks pretty. To make the horns, I bought them on Amazon. Originally, I was going to actually make them out of Worbla and figure out how I was going to do that, and then I happened to go on Amazon and just search antlers, and I found these. So I bought them. For some reason, they have blue speckles all over them, even though it's advertised as like all black. So I just took a can of Plasti Dip and sprayed the entire thing, and it worked really well to give it an entirely black covering. The veil itself is leftover chiffon from a table runner that I had purchased a while back to use for my Fallen Angel cosplay. I really, really liked the texture, and I thought it fit really well with like the general flowing vibe of what I was going for with the beast. I weathered it with sandpaper and then just hot glued it directly onto the antlers. And it's done. I'm so excited for this. I have a photo shoot that's planned out in October with some friends, and I'm really excited for it because it's going to be just peak vibes for Over the Garden Wall and just the atmosphere itself. I'm kind of sad, of course, it's summer right now, and so everything's really green, so you don't quite get the vibe of like the dead trees and like the branches, and everything like that, but I think it still looks really incredible regardless of the surroundings. Oh my gosh, it's so hot. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you're interested in Over the Garden Wall now. It's a really fun TV series, albeit a little bit wacky, but I really like it, and it's the perfect spooky fun time thing to watch during October. So if you have any questions, as always, you can leave them down below in the comments. If you're curious about my next project, you can find out more over on Patreon as well as Instagram. For those of you interested in the Patreon side of things, I will be including some patterns that I have created specifically for Pirate Jester, and I think that's it. I'm gonna go play World of Warcraft now. Bye. I can't see anything under there.